What is this?
I can be Éxito.
Hello and welcome to Quackcast number 368. This is the amazing voice of Baines. I'm Baines. No, I'm Ozone Ocean. If I was Baines, you'd be having an orgasm right now because he sounds magnificent.
You had me going.
I fooled you.
This is Tanya, by the way, and I was completely fooled.
That's an amazing impersonation. Oh my god. Tan's face.
There's no way I can do it like.
And Pizzerine.
So.
And because we have the real Baines here, I believe.
Yes, hello.
Listen to that voice. Oh my god. Aren't we lucky to have him on the Quackcast?
What are you buttering me up for?
You've got a mellifluous voice. All right. Well, we're going to be chatting about just this is a Blahcast. A Blahcast. This was.
I keep hearing Bloodcast whenever you say.
Yeah, I keep hearing Blahcast.
That's why
Blood and Blahcast. They kind of go. Then it makes me want blood sausage. I expect to go like the racist way with it, but I just want. I've been in England too long.
Blood
we will
sausage.
talk about blood.
Actually, it's meant to be the Blahcast, I believe. Blood. I want to suck your blood. So yeah, the Blahcast. So we'll be chatting about just a range of things. But before we get into that, we have the.
It means it'll be mediocre. You won't care about it.
We didn't know what to do. We'll be honest. We didn't know what to do with this one.
Blah. That's kind of blah.
But maybe genius will come out of it. Unexpected genius.
Yeah.
As it always does with us.
Always.
So before we get into that, I'll introduce the feature. And the featured comic was something that Kwai came up with, and it's a Japanese-themed comic, which means I won't be able to pronounce it. So here it is. Here's Kwai with Yasu no Monogatari. Take it away, Tans.
Was a valid attempt.
Hello, this is Quackcast, and the feature I've selected for this week is Yasu no Monogatari by Canes, and it is rated E for everyone. A young man makes his way to a miso shop after traveling a far distance. He is an outsider to the village and meets Kazuo, the owner of the ramen shop, and asks him for a chance to show that he is capable. This comic shows aspects of Japanese culture, like ikebana or the art of flower arrangement, dressing up in a yukata or kimono, and working at a soup shop. The art is mostly in black and white. It looks mostly hand-sketched, and there are parts that are painted with watercolor. Discover a story that comes from the deep forest and read Yasu no Monogatari by Canes, rated E.
And that was the music. I mean, that wasn't the music. That was the featured comic. Thank you for that, Kwai, and Yasu no Monogatari. Lovely.
The comic that shall not be named.
I made my best effort. Okay, so next up is the featured music that Gunwallace has given us, and this week he has given us Project Prince, which was a comic I featured, and it was a fantastic manga comic, a really, really cool manga. So yeah, Project Prince. It's a simple, plucked wire chords introduce us to the dark future scene. Synthesized organ and gentle patter of brushes on cymbals tip us off to the action to come. Loud, distorted electric guitars give us a feel of late-night 1980s sci-fi action movie. So take it away, Gunwallace, with Project Prince by Setha, rated E. our music. Gumbalus, thank you so much for the Project Prince. Project Prince. Lovely. Hope you enjoyed that music, people. And now for something a little different. We have Vino Mas with Princess January, giving us all the hot goss on Drunk Dark. So, take it away. Vino Mas and Princess January. With the Princess January Show.
It's the Princess January Show on the Quackcast. Episode 1, Popular. Hi everyone, I'm Princess January, the world's first vampire pop star paper-doll model. And I'm here coming to you to talk all about the Duck Webcomics hottest gossip. That's right. What's the T on the D-U-C-K? Before we get to the hottest gossip on the Duck, make sure that you know this is the last chance to get your entry in for Pageant 2. That's right, we're doing personal style and talent, and all you need to do is talk to the fashion forum and leave a message saying you're interested, or you can email travmo1977@yahoo.com and address it to Vino Moss, or even me, Princess January, because I read all his stuff anyway. But anyways, let you listen to a brand new track from my new album. My name is Princess January, and I'm gonna give you only one shot. So you better get it right. I need you to know, I need you to. I need you to know, I need you to. That was One Shot by Vino Morse and of course me, Princess January. So this is my first show, Popular. And I want to thank Ozone Ocean for giving me this job. I know that if I mess up, I'm going to get kicked off, so I better do a good job. We're going to start with what's most popular here at the Duck. And I'm telling you, there's a top 10 that you're not going to believe. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, God, don't talk about the top 10. What about me? What about me? But remember, they got to be doing something right to be getting all of those likes. So we're going to find out what they're all up to. Investigation report by Princess January. Give me one shot, give me one shot. 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 A lot of people are gonna think this show is about fashion or drama or me promoting one of my new projects. And it is. But it's also about figuring out why the most popular webcomics are so popular. And I've been doing some investigation to tell you why. I think I have it figured out. So here's what I've gathered. Number 1 is Life and Death by Jonathan Oliver. So if you go to the latest page from March 26th, pound 1785, 101 uses, you're going to see this Grim Reaper guy who's talking about the zombie apocalypse, and this other guy's talking about how there's this fungal infection happening. You've got to check it out. Anyways, I know a little bit of gossip about this Grim Reaper guy. If you go to number 2, Chobby the Vampirette by Amelius, and if I'm saying you guys' names wrong, just text me and let me know. But anyways, the granny lady knows that Grim Reaper, and I heard that they did something very, very nasty together. Now, I don't know what, but I'm going to find out. And then number 3, you've got Modest Medusa. Modest Medusa has a link of its own. If you look on part 178 on a March 30th page, you're going to see this little bunny, it's the cutest little bunny. It comes out of this, pink, poof stuff. And anyways, the most amazing thing about it is it's connected to comic number 4, Magical Misfits by Ron Bender. You've got this, green thing that says, apparently something happened to her on the way to the dance. Well, you got to check it out. And then there's this guy in the black. I think he may be the Grim Reaper from Life and Death. I don't know. You're going to have to read to find out. To round up our top 10 is none other than Public Humiliation by McCool. And many, many more. That's your top 5 for the Duck Webcomics. This is the Princess January show, and you better listen and tell everyone that you want my show back so that I come back. Bye. Give me one shot, give me one shot. 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 One shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. That's all I need is one shot. One shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. That's all I need is one shot. My name is Princess January, and I've got something to say.
And that was the Princess January show. Thank you so much for that, Princess January. Okay, back to the Quackcast. So, is it the Blahcast? Is it the Blood? Tance.
The Blahcast.
Blood. The blood.
Blood.
Oh God, this is going to be terrible.
Yes.
It's going to be absolutely.
Pitt, you were
torturous.
telling me about this amazing movie you saw, The Fury.
Yes.
Or is it just called Fury?
Fury, yeah, it's the one with Brad Pitt and the tanks and the bang
Furry.
bangs and the
It's
furries.
The furries.
It's the war of the furries.
I noticed I saw it. I just saw the beginning of it, and there's this tank silhouette. This is a horse or something. This guy riding a horse, and there's just beautiful.
Don't be
scene.
spoilers. Don't.
It's it's the start of the film. It's not a spoiler. But
I know, but when I first saw it, it took me this surprise. Okay, all right.
The thing that struck me.
So now they know the spoilers alert. So let's talk. We can talk about it now.
So the tank in the beginning, it's basically the Tank Girl tank. Did you realize that? It's the tank from Tank Girl.
I don't care about
I'm
Tank
sure.
Girl.
No, anyway, it was really cool first opening scene, and the film is pretty
Still a
groovy.
Super Bowl tank.
Yeah. I didn't see much of it, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Except for what's his name, Brad Pitt with his Nazi hairstyle, hipster.
You and that fucking get over it, dude.
Hipster hairstyle.
God.
No one had hairstyles back then.
I gotta have my axe to grind. Buzz. I need to nitpick shit all the time. Hairstyles.
I have to. That's like I'm like the king of hairstyles. Everyone else had Shia LaBeouf had a good hairstyle. He had the hairstyle of the day.
See, this is me being slow and dumb a lot of the time, but I didn't realize to the end that was him. All through the movie, that guy's familiar. Yeah, actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. And all through, I'm like, God, that guy looks familiar. Who is that guy? And then at the end, and it was like that duh moment. Yeah, it's a neat movie. I don't want to say too much if you haven't seen it yet. He could have, yeah. I've got to get sharper. He would have snuck up on me. And I don't remember how that song goes. I can't do it. I'm not even going to try. Trying will only lead to failure.
That should be the new theme song for the Quackcast.
It's an inspiring message, Pitt. Thanks.
No problem. Still try.
The Fury is
trying. She just kind of mumbled there. Trying will only lead to failure.
From what little I saw about the Fury, it's a great inspiration for if you've got camaraderie and you have a gang or something like that have to fight together. So you've got a small group of people that are in a team or something like that. And I've done that in Pinky TA, so this would be a really good influence for me in my comicking. See, I'm taking it right back to webcomic.
Yeah, there you go.
Sort of a classic template, isn't it? Sort of, in a way.
It is.
One of the several classic, the ragtag group, gather the team.
Yeah, and it's kind of simple, but there's a lot that you could do with it because it deals with the personalities in the groups. And then, usually by the end, which also... happens in this movie is that you have to like kind of bring them together, this motley crew of individuals, and have them kind of coexist in some way.
It's great. It's a great storyline to start with. Love it.
And see, I love simple stories, and I mean generally, of course, but like I love simple stories like that. Like the main story is like, all right, so we're following this tank as it's pushing its way through Germany, trying to get to Berlin, and the dressing of that, or the more substantial kind of storyline of it, the plot line is this, the tank crew and how they work together and stuff like that. And I absolutely, I'm sure I'm still like very much in my honeymoon phase after seeing it. Cause I went in not really knowing what to expect. Like I didn't really look at, oh, there's a front rolling in. Sorry. It might get a little noisy. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I went into it not really knowing what to expect. Like I didn't watch a lot of trailers. I didn't read any like reviews really. Like I've heard of people, floating around like, oh, it was cool. I'd heard a couple detractors and stuff like that. And granted, it's not for everybody, it struck me as a pretty heavy movie anyway. And once again, that's because I also wasn't expecting it to be so hard hitting in a lot of ways. Like I guess when I saw Brad Pitt's name on it, I expected it to be like a little bit more chipper, a little bit more like mainstream, yeah, we're Americans, we're gonna go in, we're gonna go kill the Nazis and shit. And like, no, it's just fun. But
he was in Inglourious Bastards. He was in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, Bastards. He was hilarious. And there's Bastards. I love that movie as well. And that's another thing that I was thinking about. Like, is this going to be another, like, is he just going to be Aldo the Apache again? Which I liked. I liked the Aldo Apache character, but you didn't want to see a carbon copy in this movie, and that's not really what you get. You still see this character being its own character and stuff. I did anyway. There's just so much to say about it. Like, but at the same time, I kind of like anybody who wants to go see it. I say definitely see it. I don't want to color anyone's view of it too much. Because when you do go into it blind, I will say this. Another thing that I absolutely loved was the use of film and sound in it. They just do so many cool, impactful things, and it's so creative in some ways. Just go watch it. Make sure you have like good sound or headphones or something like that when you do, because you need that shit to be like all around you as it's happening. You need to immerse. Like I wish I would have gone and seen it in the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like it just would have been so like reaching into your heart and like pulling out your innards and emotions and reactions through your throat, through your sternum. So. Anyway,
I think, because I was mentioned Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards, which I also very much enjoy as a movie. I think that it reads a little bit like a comic book.
It does, yeah.
The experience of that movie, not that it's not brutal, by all means it is, and it's not sparing. Of course, not at all, but it has an element that it is a story. It's something almost close to a superhero movie, close to that. Yeah. Like it has a bit of a taste of that, more than anything else. So it doesn't feel very real. So what I have seen in trailers from Fury, it looks like it wants to be far more, sucker punching you with reality, which is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Sucker punching you with reality. did you say?
Mm-hmm.
She did.
Oh, I was just drawn straight into another movie reference there, Sucker Punch, which is takes you a
I haven't
different
watched
direction.
I haven't watched that either.
Sucker Punch is a good film. That gets a bad reputation, I think. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think it's because people expected it to be a fantasy and they didn't want it. Because the title literally says what it's going to do. It's going to sucker punch you. And it's going to, you know, like hit you out of nowhere. And yeah, that's what it does. It's not the kind of movie that you think it is. And I think that's why people hate it so much. Not because it's a bad movie, because it's not a bad movie. It's really well done, and it's really cool and it's inspiring in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Nothing like Fury though. Nothing like it at all. Yeah, there's no one's cleaning up faces out of tanks.
I should just balls up and watch it though. I think that is the thing, like I have been colored by bad reactions in the movie to Sucker Punch, and probably unfairly so, because I don't even remember what a lot of those critiques were, but it just kind of shut me off a little bit. Like I thought, because at the time a lot of movies had come out that were trying to kind of play up this grindhouse kind of feel and nostalgia and this kind of hyper real thing, but a lot of the movies that were starting to come out were just kind of trying to buy into that fad and just not coming out good.
Yeah.
So I guess I was kind of colored like that, like, oh, so this came out and people aren't reacting well to it, so I imagine that it just fits into that other category of movies that are trying to be like this grindhouse-esque kind of super thing without any heart, but I don't know.
Yeah, when in reality it's like totally different from the grindhouse stuff. Yeah. So
oh, interesting. Okay.
It's fantasy mixed with reality. It's basically I can't really say because it's a spoiler, but maybe I should because it needs a spoiler so people can get into it. There's a girl basically who has a terrible stepfather. Her mother's dead, and she has a sister, and they're being abused by their dad, basically. So it's a terrible, dark situation. And they drag this sister off to an insane asylum because she's tried to kill the father to stop him abusing her little sister. And this girl is super worried about her little sister being left with this abuser, and she's going off to insane asylum. And then reality starts to go weird, and we go into this like weird alternative reality. And it's like this amazing fantasy, and that's her sort of way of coping with her reality and getting out of it and escaping and turning it into something different and more positive. But that's a good explanation for it. It's a bit of a spoiler, but it's a spoiler that's needed in order to get people to. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because you don't really know what kind of bird it is, then per se. Like
exactly.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad spoiler because I mean, if it holds up, I say that not having seen it, but if it holds up, if it's done well, it sounds like on that premise, if it's done well, then it'll be good regardless.
Yeah.
I'll
go on, Tom.
It could be that this category of movies don't seem to get much traction because I remember, I don't know exactly when, relatively recently, another movie called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's a remake, which is I don't remember that if it was or not. But what I do know, because we did it a lot in literature class, is that it is based on a very specific short story that is called exactly The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which personally I really like as a short story. So many people that weren't aware of that and went into that expected something like a gangster be a spy thriller or, some sort of suspenseful thing. And it's not. It's basically how this person escapes his life that he's not satisfied with by daydreaming assorted situations, more or less like kids do when they role play when they are by themselves and they think that they are, cops or spies or, in different eras and stuff like that. So, and you get into these small snippets of fantasy that this guy has until he is snapped out of it by reality, and then he carries on and so on and so forth. And it's basically how this guy copes and then how he resolves the matter in the movie, because in the short story he doesn't resolve the matter. He stays as he is. Yeah. And it was very well done. I enjoyed the movie. But it got a lot of flack, as far as I could tell. Exactly because people expected something absolutely different.
Yeah, and that becomes a problem because people, and this happens with webcomics too, it really, really does. I'm not just dragging that in there. People criticize something not for what it is, but because it didn't live up to their expectations of what they expected it to be, what they wanted it to be mistakenly.
Yeah.
I've done it myself
that
as well.
Happens. Oh, me too. Well, and I think, it's hard not to sometimes. And granted, when you do it, it's good to kind of try to recognize it and try to approach it again later on. Like, for instance, I always go back to Friday the 13th. But the one, Baines, you might know the one that I'm talking about. I always forget the number. The one where Jason himself isn't in the movie. No, not that one. It's the one where Jason, I think it's Jason Goes to Hell. Never mind. And that's still one of the last Friday the 13th that I haven't finished yet, because when I went into it, I thought it was going to be like another like kind of Jason movie. And the way it was handled, like, he's this kind of disembodied spirit and he's body snatching people and stuff like that. Yeah. And I stopped
and all
watching.
The character stuff and all the stuff around Jason, even so the Jason character is completely different and everything else is like nothing you see in all the other movies kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And hold on. And I'm not thinking right now, sorry. But yeah, so when I went into that and I started watching it, I stopped watching it because it wasn't what I expected. It wasn't what I thought. But after that, I've had friends that, a good friend of mine that I usually agree with him on any movie stuff. He's like, no, that one's awesome. Like, and so it kind of made me realize, like, I think I'm going to give it a try again one day because, I just, my view was jaded when I went in. Not jaded, but it was altered in a certain way. And like, I don't know if I don't like it specifically because it wasn't what I thought a Jason movie would be, or it's because I legitimately thought it made a bad movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, sorry, Baines, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to say that
if you don't cut me off, it's going to be Friday the 13th for the next hour. So, yeah, good idea.
I don't mind.
I just want to say it's fair enough if you go into that movie and you want to see something. Then it's fair enough to say, okay, I'm just going to quit out of this because I was in the mood for this certain thing and this wasn't this certain thing, so I'm not going to watch it. That's not a criticism of the film, and that's nothing against it, and that's not a basis for saying, the film is shit. That's just you were in the mood for something else and you wanted to satiate that by watching that thing you're in the mood for. So,
Absolutely. And this is a good point as to why proper advertising is important. You get these trailers and these teaser trailers and stuff like that. Teaser trailers, they're a weird bird. I mean, you don't learn a lot from them, but like, the Carnage teaser trailer that just came out a little while ago, and that's gotten a lot of flack, and I can see why, because they're not showing carnage. And and that's where a lot of people go, oh, well, it's a teaser trailer. That's why they don't show carnage. Well, then they shouldn't be going with a teaser trailer, because carnage is the main attraction of why you would go see carnage.
Yeah.
And otherwise, what they're showing in the trailer is just some dude having a crisis that I wouldn't care about if carnage wasn't involved. Therefore, I don't really care about what's going on in that teaser trailer. So in that case, like, a teaser trailer is a bad choice, because you should be showing off. See, what that does, the lack of seeing carnage makes people think that, one, either carnage isn't going to be in the movie much, and what we're actually going to get is this tripe that we're seeing. Yeah. Or two, carnage is going to be in it, but they want to hide him because he looks like shit. And you don't want that reaction either. You're not advertising well,
Advertising.
Is it Venom? Do you mean Venom? Is that what you mean, or
Venom?
Oh, yeah, Venom. Is it? Yeah,
Carnage
Venom.
is the other.
Carnage is in there.
Yeah, he's the red guy. What did I think
Carnage
it was?
might be in there too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
Same
advertising. I just want to say, advertising can kill a film when it is done wrongly. There was a good film. I wasn't at all interested in it because the advertising sucks, and I think that's what killed it for everyone. It was John Carter on Mars, which was a really fun, bloody film. Now it's so cool.
I enjoyed that one. I really liked it.
But the advertising was just so terrible that no one went and saw it, and it flopped because the promotions sucked.
That's such a shame.
Yeah. Chance, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that one very successful piece of advertising for that kind of movie, a movie that basically circles and revolves and showcases a monster or a villain, or was Godzilla with I don't remember the guy, but it
Matthew
was this. Thank you. Yes, that one, because they managed not to show you the actual lizard, but they showed enough hints of it to make you pumped about it. Like they did show like a claw or the eye, or
like some impact or something, or like
exactly. Or I remember very much. I still remember the teaser where you got this old guy fishing at the pier, and he thinks that he has caught something, and then the entire pier just
lifts up.
Lifts up, and he has to run. And that you don't see the monster, but you see the monster in a sense. So
that's an effective trailer.
Yeah.
It's making you curious to see what's causing that sort of thing. Absolutely.
In that example, that's a weird one, because Godzilla has always sold itself through the image of the monster, as Hollywood has always sold monster films by teasing you about it, and the monster's the big reveal, the big surprise, which is totally opposite to a Godzilla film, where the monster is the advertisement. So that was Godzilla done in a Hollywood way. But when you see Godzilla, he's actually, or she, in the Hollywood one, is not proper Godzilla.
So maybe it's similar to the Venom thing going on. That they're covering up something that.
But it was done better in that you really wanted to see it, because, oh my God, these buildings have holes in them.
Oh, sure. I remember the Independence Day trailers being so awesome,
Yeah.
Like, so much anticipation. They don't really show you when what's behind all the.
When you see Godzilla, he's, instead of the normal, Godzilla, this thing has bloody a fucking lantern jaw, like this projecting in front of him. That's the Hollywood way of drawing Godzilla. It has to have a big, broad lantern jaw and huge muscles, and he's not the big, typical. Anyway, I'm getting off topic.
He's like, I want my man and a lizard. God damn it.
Why do you have to have that haircut with his sides shaved down?
Exactly. Bloody Nazi.
Godzilla never have a haircut like that.
They're invading everywhere, the bloody Nazi hipsters. My God, Jawohl, Herr Kommandant.
As he offends a good 3/4 of our listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
Jawohl, Harry Kommandant. That's it. Harry Hitler.
You just sounded so Minnesotan. Jawohl, Harry Commandant. Jawohl. Oh, hey there.
I'm from Minnesota. Or North Dakota. They're all the same to me.
I adore that accent. It is my favorite accent in the U.S.
That's School Monkey's accent, although she was from Iowa or Idaho or something. Idaho, I think. But
Really?
She sounded like that as well.
Oh,
I
see,
thought
she was such a super lady. Had to say that.
Iowa.
Oh, Iowa.
School Monkey was from Iowa. I couldn't do her accent. It's just singular. No one in the world has that accent. So yeah, movies.
He's fleeing the scene. He's fleeing the premises. I'm trying to remember a quote from Fargo. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about accents then.
Tan Sierra. Anybody?
I got you. I was laughing.
You were. Thank you. The subverted expectations thing.
Go on.
A lot of discussion about that right now. Vis-a-vis the new Star Wars movie, which subverts every expectation in almost every scene, and it's very explosively divisive. This movie, people are going crazy over it, and it's kind of it makes you think, or makes me think anyway. Is it a matter of just expectations and people just want to see what they want to see and what they expect? Is it a good movie that challenges you, or is it did it go too far, and is it subverting every expectation to too much of a degree and not in a good way? So there's so much discussion of it right now online, and I'm it's a lot of food for thought. I don't totally know what I think, because I've gone from I don't know if I hated it or if I didn't mind it. I'm not sure still. Only seen it once,
your expectations colored how you saw it.
I enjoyed it, and this seems so weird to talk about me, but anyway, because everyone's talking about it online and stuff. But I enjoyed the experience of watching it in the theater, and that there were so many twists, but not in the conventional sense where the Act 1 has this big twist, Act 2 has this big twist. It's every scene is a twist. It's really weird, and I it kind of you don't know what's coming next. It leaves you so upside down kind of thing. It had me on the edge of my seat as I watched it, and it sounds like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. It's got ships and all that shit. But
is that The Last Jedi?
The Last Jedi. And then I was I think I liked it. And then the next day I was I don't know, man. Everything I didn't like, I kind of brushed aside as I was watching the movie because I wasn't trying to engage with it. Just kind of naturally just brushed it aside. And then as the next day or two went by, I was man, I don't remember anything now that I liked. Just the stuff I didn't like is what stayed with me. So it's it's strange to think. Some great ideas in it, but it's subverted things to such a degree. That was weird.
I have avoided it for that purpose. I have actually not seen the new Star Wars movies at all. Not even actually, to be entirely honest, I tried to watch the episode, what is it, 7?
Yeah, no, I 8. 7.
And I couldn't watch it through. I sincerely tried, but I was so bored, and I slept.
It was a poorly made film. It's not a spoiler to talk about that one because everyone should have seen it.
It's years ago.
It had some really good things in it, like Rey being, the star of it being a girl. It was great. She had a white ninja suit on. It was pretty cool. Finn, the black stormtrooper guy. Phasma. Captain Phasma.
I was interested in Finn a little bit.
The pilot of the X-Wing was really cool. With the jacket, whatever his name was. He was
Poe.
Yeah, Poe. Another awesome guy. But the film itself was just baby stuff. It was a baby's version of.
I See, I like I felt that the entire movie was teasing me with these very, very juicy storylines, and it never came through on those. I mean,
Yeah.
you have Finn who deserts the stormtroopers, and that's huge. That's huge. That could be a movie in and of itself. Just follow this guy, and it also seems that the stormtroopers don't really care. I mean, okay, if they see him, they will shoot. Yeah, okay, maybe, but
not every stormtrooper.
Yeah, not all stormtroopers, Tans. Come on, jeez, he's wearing a fedora for God's sake. Come on, respect him. That trench coat.
That's one. And to be entirely honest, and I don't know if that is what that says about me, but the girl left me absolutely unimpressed. It didn't make any difference.
Well, she was a massive Mary Sue in a lot of ways. I like the fact that they did choose a girl, and it did something different. And she was a good actor, Daisy, whatever it is. She was a good actor.
Yeah,
but
okay.
Her character was, she instantly masters the bloody sword and instantly goes to the right places.
I can't even buy that. Like her, I don't know, her midichlorian count is through the roof, and if she touches a sword, she can immediately be like a ninja with it. But, oh my God, she was boring. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, like, I haven't seen it, but like, if that's like the mainstay of your character, that's not an interesting character. I don't care about that character.
Yeah.
No,
and that's like basic stuff.
Yeah, and the plot happens like the whole thing that she has to join the resistance. Like she is a little bit like a package that is carried around and pushed around so that the plot can continue. So you don't get to know her, and she doesn't actually have any real ambition.
Yeah, she falls into it. Like you've got like she's basically Luke Skywalker. And
but
she's just being Luke. I know Luke Skywalker has a lot going for him, because Luke Skywalker is like a kid. He wants to fly spaceships.
Yeah. Okay, he wanted to be the farm. He wanted to be a pilot. He wanted to go and do great things. Like he even Beauty and the Beast has more motivation.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So what I'm saying is, like, Luke wanted to do all that.
I don't remember her name. Yeah, what was it?
Rey. So Luke read about like the Jedi Knights, and that's like a mystical thing like to us, like King Arthur and the Knights. So that was his thing, Jedi Knights. So he wanted to be all that. Whereas with Rey, she's being molded into the Luke Skywalker template without any ambition, without actually wanting to be in there. She has no ambition to be there. She's just this, she's actually having a great life. Well, not a great life, but a really kind of, that's pretty cool what she's doing. She's on a desert planet. She's scrounging for parts in gigantic, like space battleships. What are they called? Star Destroyers. She's flying through these things. It's fantastic. And she's like going into these wreckages, these amazing, destroyed, abandoned things. Yeah, it was so cool. And then she's going and selling like the parts to this like desert pawn shop kind of guy in the middle of nowhere, and that's groovy. And then just that she loses that entire life to go off and do the boring Jedi crap.
She doesn't even look invested in that though. She's too stoic, and everything is with a deadpan, and she just didn't engage me. It doesn't matter that she was a girl, even if, and a boy would get the same reaction from me. I was honestly very, very bored, very bored. So I didn't try the second one, and I didn't even
had a lot of the same reactions. It left me a little bit.
The villain wasn't interesting. He's
terrible. Never make a villain who is like the well, it's not spoiler to say he's the grandson of the previous villain.
He could be.
So he was like Kim Il Sung or whatever. That's what he is. Kim Il Sung or Kim Il Jong or whatever his name was would make a better villain in Star Wars world.
The thing is like the way that they show it. I mean, you could have, and that would also be extremely interesting if you had the parents having a big problem.
Let's talk about Star Wars.
Problem, like, and not only that, they should have faced big problems with everyone else around involved because they lead the freaking resistance, don't they? So if you have the prince of the freaking resistance join the other side, there's something is, someone dropped the ball big time, so that this kid could get so corrupted or so, allured by the dark side or whatever. That's amazing. That's a lot of awesome fodder for a story, for a movie, for a lot of drama to have, and they don't like it. It's boring. Even Han Solo's death, spoiler, is boring. It's boring.
You're right, Hans.
And I was like, I felt like looking at my watch, like, okay, when is gonna stab you?
But if they had made the movie just about him, whatever his name is, it doesn't matter. The new Darth Vader. If they made the movie about him, then it would have been really cool. That would have been an amazing thing because you don't see movies from the villain's perspective. Really showing where they came from. That would be cool.
And why his parents didn't catch it early? I mean, supposedly,
who cares?
Leia is very force sensitive and everything. Didn't she sense the dark side around her freaking son, or what was she doing?
Yeah. I gotta say, like what they did with the old characters, that's what really challenges me in a way to think that maybe I'm just old and I love the old movies and that's all I like and that's the problem. But I agree that I didn't care enough about the new characters, although I like the actors. I agree exactly with what you said. Like the actors were good. I love the fact that it was a female protagonist, a female Luke, if you will. Mm-hmm. But just what they did with it was kind of nothing to grab onto. Like she's too good at everything. And what you say is a good point. She doesn't really want. It's like, what does she want? You can't really tell. She'd like to know who her parents are, but she's kind of busy kicking everybody's ass.
That is. I just want to go on that point though. That is a thing. Bad writing for female characters. Okay, it's all right to have a male character who dreams of being this, who dreams of being that, who has these motivations. When it comes to female characters, oh my god, they're just a mystery. We'll just make the female characters, push them in these directions, even though we've shown no motivation, no other wants. She's just going to do this because we have to make her do it. But it shows like it's like dehumanizing the female character because it doesn't matter what she wants.
The character trait is that she's a girl. That's all she needs to do.
That's it. That's a good point. She doesn't have to have feelings or dreams.
Yes. Like on that note, like one trope that I'm so fucking sick of is the femme fatale. Man, I am so fucking like I have my exceptions. Like I still love Beatrix Kiddo and stuff like that. But you get this chick that she wears tight spandex and she does backflips and spits cool one-liners. I'm so fucking sick. Dude, I'd love to see a movie where you take a character like that and she just dies the whole fucking time the most humiliating way possible.
Aeon Flux.
I hate that fucking character. Not Aeon so much.
She did that.
It's all in how you do it, because I agree with you. But then you think
about the new,
the one from
the comic, the
vampire,
cartoon,
the one that is a vampire and Kate Beckinsale always plays. What's her name? I don't remember.
Oh yeah, that movie was shit.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Or Ultraviolet. You're thinking of?
No. It is not called Ultraviolet. It's called Underworld.
Okay, yeah.
No, there was another movie called Ultraviolet. Did that too, wasn't it?
Yep.
It could have.
It was about the vampire chick.
It might have been, but not with Kate Beckinsale.
See, there are so many fucking oh, yes. Oh, Underworld. Yeah. See, I have. Yeah. Sorry.
Underworld. The first Underworld movie I actually enjoyed because it's basically Romeo and Juliet with vampires and werewolves.
Yeah.
And it did a nice incarnation of this entire situation, blah blah.
Yeah.
But after that, it's nice. It's like a nice popcorn movie.
It
Fine.
had problems, but it was pretty well done in the end.
Yes.
I hate that actor. That's the only problem I had with it.
Which actor?
Can't stand that dude. I don't remember his name offhand. Scott Speedman, I think maybe is his name.
Right.
Could be Speedman. Yeah.
Anyway. But after that, like they kept milking it and let it die, man. It has fulfilled its purpose. You wanted to do this.
You know what?
It worked.
Stop it. I bought the whole lot on DVD because it was super cheap and I wasn't getting good internet at the time and I wanted to watch some films, just dumb films. So I got the whole 4 movies in one DVD thing, and it was interesting. So I watched the first one and I thought, this could be good. It has some like fantastic costumes, but a lot of things are lame about this. And then I saw the second one, I thought, actually they sort of fixed some of the things here and took out some of the dumb characters. This is better. And then the third one, I thought, yeah. And then the fourth one, yeah, it was going back to the first one again. But the 2 middle ones I thought were decent. So that was going against, I mean, everyone says like the third one is just terrible. The second one is just like a rehash of the first movie. But for me,
the third one with a different lead, her daughter or something.
Everyone's different except for the werewolf guy.
Well, I thought Kate Beckinsale was in 3 of them or something, but no?
Yeah, she's in the last one. And
so who's in the third one? It's like her daughter.
Rona Mitra, I believe.
I thought so, yes.
Was the first Tomb Raider model to be...
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Lara Croft. The photo model of her. It's actually pretty good. Anyway, Tance, what were you going to say it was about? Sorry, I just cutting you off.
No, I'm saying that often I'm just extrapolating on what you mentioned about female characters and especially the strong female character where they are just, very emancipated and everything, but you have they're not people. They're not individuals.
Yeah. Well, the strength in a female character, the way Hollywood does it or the way idiots write it, is they think strength means actually physical strength or an important job. They don't realize strong character has nothing to do with strength or being a badass or shooting arrows. Strong character means well-written character that's believable and does stuff and is not a victim. That's what a strong character is, that moves the plot forward.
And I was impressed. Now I'm going to inadvertently plug my own comic, so I'm aware of that. It's not humble bragging. Okay.
That said, Without Moonlight is the greatest comic on Drunk Town.
Of course, it is. It is the crowning achievement of humanity. Okay, so we have taken that to the side. What I was impressed though was that a lot of people in the scene where spoilers, where Basil dies, there is a certain reaction. Martha reacts in a very specific way, which does not involve her collapsing in tears over his body and doing that very dramatic thing that I really wanted to make, by the way, but the character wasn't having it. And people were commenting like, oh, I like how she doesn't do this, but she fights to the end and stuff like that. It got me thinking that, okay, maybe people expect female characters to react in a certain manner, even when they are portrayed to be strong or, leads in some manner. Because that was I got the comment a lot from different areas by different readers. And what to me was very natural for her, that she would just want, instead of leave mourning for later and just shoot dead the guy that killed her lover. That would be natural, but apparently not so much. So.
Right, so they expected her to have like the preconceived ideas. Okay, she has to right now. She has to collapse into mourning and hysterics and all that kind of thing. Is that what they expected?
Yeah, they didn't say that. Oh my God, I expected this. They said, "Oh, I'm so glad that she doesn't do that." That's the way it was expressed.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Because that's people have preconceived ideas about what the patterns they should fall into. I mean, they should be more emotional and they should be more caring and all this kind of stuff. There's no deviating out of it. That you're stuck in the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
Mm-hmm.
She has to be one of those.
Yeah.
Or the femme
and
fatale.
and that's not to say that a female character can't be in such a role like that. It's just like, I think it's the same thing that when you make a strong, like a strong female character is like, don't just make it a one note fucking character. If you want it to be something that people, a mainstay character, put more into it than that. Like, what I think of a lot, and for, it's going to sound like I rag on strong female characters, and I don't at all. Just when they're stupid. But I'm going to talk about Night of the Living Dead. One of my favorite movies since I was a kid. And I do like the remake as well. And I don't have anything wrong with that strong female lead in the remake. So I'm not going to complain about that. But what a lot of people complain about, and stop me if I've talked about this on here before already. But what a lot of people complain about is the female Barbara in the original one, because, shit hits the ceiling and she loses her mind and she's just broken through the whole thing. I love that character. It's one of my favorite characters to follow through the movie, because she is broken in it, not in some stupid Hollywood crying sense, and that's all there is to it. No, she is like mentally, she's checked out, and she, like, until shit goes down at the very end, like Ben's left alone in the house and the zombies are breaking in. Until that happens at the end and the sanctity of that house is breached, she is the single reminder, I think most poignant reminder through the film, that they're in fucking danger. And there's danger on so many levels. Like imagine being her. Like, she's out of her mind and she's so vulnerable because even the people inside of the house can't get their shit straight. Like, and she is in a sense almost at their mercy because she can't even function. And like, she almost hypnotizes me through the movie, like her reactions and stuff like that. Amazing. So when people shit on that character they do it so often, almost every time I see it, that movie or references posted to it anywhere, that they're like, oh, I hate that character, or like, oh, the dumb crying character. No, dude. Like, watch the fucking movie. Actually watch the movie instead of copying what other people are saying about it. Watch the movie. Yeah. It's an amazing character study. But anyway.
She is believable, you're saying, because she's believably written. Her actions are, so that ties you, that draws you deeper into the film.
Interesting.
Makes you identify
She's interesting.
with it.
I can't say if it's super believable, but it's interesting. It's super interesting.
Yeah. Does it make it more believable in that way? Because that's what a character. What does it make it more immersive in that way?
I think so, in a sense. Yeah. See, that's something that's hard for me to answer. For me, yeah, it does. When I watch movies, though, I will do backflips to try and kind of get in a character's mindset. It's one of the reasons why I love horror movies, because they just fuck me up. Because I will, like, if somebody's being chased at night through the woods, like, even if it's like the same shit you've seen a million times, like, oh, the girl's running and she falls down, like, I'll be like my eyes will be glued and I will be putting myself in that headspace. It's like, fuck, dude, like, could you imagine that? Like, so I put myself there. So I get immersed easily in films. So for me it is, but it might not be for a lot of people. I don't know. But I can't see why it wouldn't be. The only reason why I would think that it wouldn't be more immersive is if you did what I say that people do and just cut it off as like, oh, this is a weak 1950s female character, and therefore it's exempt, therefore it doesn't count, therefore it's poorly written. No. It's an amazing character. Yeah, because I think what it does is it's immersive, is that you see a different viewpoint, a different vantage point.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a new kind of vulnerability in a movie that makes you super vulnerable already.
That's what a character should do.
That's well put. Yeah.
And that's exactly what, say, Rey in The Force Awakens does not do.
Let me feel vulnerable.
But yeah, well, I don't want to keep on bloody Star Wars because we go over that over again. But yeah, you think in an interesting, amazing world like Star Wars or whatever other world where you have an amazing character, you need to
Cake Wars. Sorry.
But you need to be able to witness it in a way that you appreciate the full awesomeness of this world that you're visiting, and that is the purpose of a lot of those characters, isn't it, Baines? You know, it's a classic kind of thing. When the story is based around like an amazing world, you need a character who is naive, and they're the audience proxy. And they're witnessing all this amazing stuff for the first time. And that's...
For sure.
Yeah, signposting to us how awesome and interesting it is.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, well said.
Where...
And being... no matter varying on the tone of the film, like being overwhelmed by things in a genre thing like Star Wars, or in a horror movie,
Dead.
I mean... Or The Living Dead, exactly. So the tone is going to be different, and it's going to be overwhelmed in maybe a horrific way versus a sense of discovery, a sense of wonderment, but still in a genre thing, like in an adventure thing, in a character arc, you should be sort of overmatched by the antagonists, overwhelmed in a way. Like I said, it could be in a lighter way or a heavier way by what's happening to you and what you're encountering.
Depending on the genre, yeah. I mean, if it's an Indiana Jones genre film, which is it's competence porn, that's what those ones are called. If it's that kind of style thing, then your character should always be ahead of the game in some way. If it's James Bond,
but his adventures are hard on him, at least in the first three movies.
They are.
I think that when you want competence porn, though, you want to be able to understand why this person is competent, not have him just magically.
Yes, good points. Yes, you have to have that.
Because you experience this competence vicariously through the character. So, and that's another issue that I have with one of the...
Bond is that kind of thing, eh?
Yeah. I also got bored with Bond a lot, but I learned to like it, like the series more because I started watching it with popcorn and friends, and that made it very fun. But I was thinking more about this modern Sherlock Holmes iterations. There is one by the BBC, and there is one by Hollywood with the guy that plays Iron Man, if I'm not mistaken.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, thank you. Today I cannot remember anything. My mind is a bit fried.
The other one is Burn My Dick Cabbage Patch, I think.
Cumberbatch. So I can't get into, for the life of me, I cannot get into the Robert Downey Jr. one. And the reason for this is that it's like he has this divine oracle power. That's not deduction. That's sheer luck and having read the script ahead of time. That's the only reason why.
What do they call plot armor and that kind of thing?
So you can't really get behind and marvel and enjoy this guy's genius, because it's not genius. It's not that he can go from A to C, but you can see why he did that.
Yeah.
He just appears at C without even passing through A. Whereas the BBC version doesn't do that. You can follow of course, the difference in the genius of Sherlock Holmes in the BBC one is that he makes the deductions far faster than anyone else, and he also has a very higher sense of like he notices things. He notices more things. Yes, thank you. He has more perception than anyone else. But if you also had this speed and perception, you would also arrive to the same conclusion. And that is what makes his competence form enjoyable, where the other one you cannot really get in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's in MacGyver as well. You know, that was the classic.
Just thinking of MacGyver too, yeah.
Classic iteration of that genre. But he'd come across a situation, and meticulously the story would explain to you why he's going to be solving this and how it's going to work. And it was good because of that, because it was understandable and identifiable because of that. It wasn't just someone who, as often the case in a lot of modern movies is, they pick up a gun and they can work it exactly. You know, this kid has never operated a gun before and he can shoot accurately with whatever he touches. Oh, do you know how hard it is to shoot a gun from a long range and hit something? It's not easy. You can't do that in your first try. And they can all do that in these films, no matter what. And the bad guys who are experts with guns can't hit anything with a chain of
I have to say, as much as I do love Fury, it's going to have some of the problems that other movies do, because they're necessary problems that you have to have in order to have a movie in the first place. And it will sometimes, you'll notice if you watch it, it'll have, like for whatever reason, that the tank will be sitting out in the middle of the open, and then none of the Germans are able to hit anybody, but Brad Pitt's like picking them off and stuff, which is an awesome scene. Don't get me wrong, I don't want it to be any different, but like when you watch a movie, and that's the thing with any kind of story too, you do, in order to tell that story in the way that you want, a lot of times you do have to have some of these suspensions of belief.
Oh sure.
But also, as you guys were saying, it has to be, if it's too far out of left field and you just make it like a matter of, oh, magic, he did it because, at the wrong time, it gets jarring. Like, if you make it too fucking obvious, it's stupid.
Yeah, there's too much magic in a film. It's a bit annoying. And the coincidences as well. Oh my God. We're getting a bit over time here, but I'll just bring up this one
already
thing. Yeah.
Wow, man.
I was watching a while ago a couple of different genre films. So basically, they're both like written or set in the 1920s, that kind of thing. So it's like a classical 1920s, 1930s kind of stuff. And one of them was so well written. It was about the First World War and these characters and all the trials and tribulations they had. Oh, it was amazingly well written, and the characters, their meetings were believable and interesting. It was so well done. And then the other one I watched was a Poirot adaptation, the Agatha Christie. And all the characters just magically were connected to each other. Every single character, which was just coming from the other one, where it was written in a believable way. And then this one, it was just so jarring. And the Agatha Christie one would be great for a play, because, characters just happening to know each other. And you've only got a small group of characters in a play, and it really helps if they know each other, and that ties things together. But as a TV show, it's just so bad. So yeah, it was not believable, because that is a trope in a lot of fiction, where everybody just coincidentally, oh, I met you in a summer camp in 1973, and in 1923 in this case. And yeah, I knew your mother's brother's daughter, that kind of thing. And all the characters happen to be connected in that way, which is just terrible for a believable story. Because in the big wide reality of the world, these
unless you
connections are
subvert
limited.
that,
What's
and
that?
you have, unless you subvert that, and in the end it is revealed that it looks like it was a chance meeting, but the key villain or whoever it is, or the key character or some character has made it so that all these people meet there on purpose, which is something that I have seen a couple of times, especially Koreans like to do that.
Well, Agatha Christie does as well, and I think that's why they did it here. But the classic one is
I think
Orient Express.
Yeah. Yes, of course, but the characters were deliberately there because they all wanted to murder the one guy
Spoiler.
that got murdered. Oh my God! In Agatha Christie, someone gets murdered.
What?
Actually, spoiler warning. Yeah.
See, next time you're going to tell us Sherlock Holmes solves the crime.
Oh my goodness, you did it even worse. But what I like if it's done right, and when it seems that you have these random characters, for example, ending up in this one resort, and then slowly it is revealed that they are all connected, and they didn't come voluntarily there, like they didn't intend to all be gathered up in that particular place. But then in the end, you realize that this happened by a series of coincidences that were not actual coincidences, because there was one puppet master making sure that they are all there for some reason. I like that when it's done well, but it has to be done well, and
that one's done. At one time, was done a lot too, and done well and done badly.
It's still done. They do it in anime all the time.
Okay, sure.
Different styles of them. But yeah, you have to do it well. You can't just have everything being chance serendipity. That's what they call it. In all
everything has happened as I have foreseen.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah, and that goes back to bloody the ancient kind of mythology. They have that prophecy. It was foretold. Right. Oedipus went and did the wrong thing.
Usually, though, there you have the prophecy, and people try to avoid the prophecy, and by trying to avoid it, they make it happen.
Yes, that's. Oh, we're getting over time here. We should quit because we have other things to do. We do. So, thank you, people, for listening. I'm sorry if this was less terrible, but it should have been good. I liked it. It was fun. Okay.
It was fun. Fascinating.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. This has been Quackcast number 368.
Bye-bye.
Go watch the movies I told you to watch.
Yeah, watch them. Watch Ultraviolet. Okay, goodbye.
Bye.